So, in that big bin of leaving them a vision of a life they would like to imitate, not replicate, I added all of those things. And I challenge you to reflect and add some things to that list. I mentioned in the story earlier that the second point, be careful what you teach them about success. Children often adopt standards that we celebrate. I celebrated my achievements with my children. My children were always a big part of my corporate life. I didn't live two lives. I really tried to blend them together. But I never really spent a lot of time explaining to them that my self worth was not only tied to my work performance. I think I may have overestimated that tie. And now I'm watching them try to achieve and also kind of tie those two together. I spent a lot of time resisting comparison and competition. Our bottom two children are twins, and twins are naturally comparing and naturally in competition. But what I wanted to teach them about success really didn't have anything to do what the guy to the left, or in my case, the guy to my right, because there weren't as many women achieving at that time. What we were doing, we weren't in competition thereof. So therefore, my success wasn't about winning every day in comparison to. I often spent time celebrating with my teams at work and my children, things like effort, integrity, and kindness. And I watch my girls, especially today, celebrate those things with their team. So I know I did a few of the things right. And I'm not trying to focus on everything I did wrong, but trying to help you understand that what you're modeling. The third thing is I remember that time reflects what matters most. And what I mean by that is presence is one of love's clearest expressions. And I know now that I have more time and they have less time, and I remember when my mom had more time and I had less time, and I'm kind of living that a little bit differently. I'm noticing when my attention falls from their stories or their trials or their tribulations or their celebrations. I'm really trying to protect the line of my intention and my presence and really showing up for them in their extraordinary moments, but also showing up for them in their ordinary moments, in the great day, in the day that they came home from work and their fiance or, husband made their dinner for them, and celebrating. Maddie sent me a picture the other night that she and Benjamin made shrimp tacos, and they were both so proud of these shrimp tacos. And I literally took the time to be present and reflect, on what was in the shrimp tacos that made them so happy. So letting them see that I will continue to show up for them consistently and be present, because that really is something that they value most, more than anything they're going to inherit from me. The fourth thing is trying to create a relationship with each of them individually that feels safe. And I say each of them individually because, you can have two children grow up in the same household with completely different life experiences, childhood experiences, memories are different, relationships are different, and every child views the world differently. So really trying to create a relationship that is safe for each of them in the way that really reflects what makes them feel honest, safe, cared for, heard, seen, and intentional words are used. Balancing grace with accountability, because in my mind, this safe relationship also has elements of accountability in it. And that's something I always taught all of our kids as they were growing up. Actions have, consequences. You are accountable for your actions. So reinforcing the grace that we can have in our relationship, but also continuing to reinforce the accountability therein. with the overlying umbrella of consistently reinforcing my unconditional love for each of them differently. The next thing is,